Hey there, fellow writers. Scott here from Script Reader Pro. Today we're going to talk about stakes and how important they are to have in your story. So let's go. Hey everyone, Scott from Script Reader Pro here. Today we are talking about stakes. Stakes are one of my favorite things to feel and experience in a movie or a television show and in a script I'm reading. If you don't have stakes in your movie, if you don't have something to lose, it's just not going to be as engaging as it would otherwise. And it's not just the big, huge movies, which obviously do a great job of stakes. If you look at all of these disaster movies, it's the end of the world, right? If these characters don't come together and pull something off, the world and humanity is done. So huge stakes. Something like Jurassic Park. They go to this park. Things go bad. If they don't put these dinosaurs down, if they don't find a way off this island, if they don't find a way to end this, they're all going to die, right? And Jurassic Park does an excellent job of not just having the big stakes there, but the smaller personal stakes as well. You've got the team of paleontologists who are there, and she starts egging her husband on about having kids, and he doesn't want kids because he's not comfortable around them. So what does the author do? He puts the children in the care of this man. So this man who doesn't feel comfortable around kids, all of a sudden there's personal stakes there that he has to take care of these kids. If you look at something like Bird Box, it's huge stakes. There is something out there that if you look at it, you will die. You will kill yourself because you can't handle what you just saw. So huge stakes. You can't look. You got to be blindfolded wherever you go. You can't look at these things. So you take the main character and you make her this woman who doesn't feel she could ever be a mother for all of the reasons that she's dealt with in her life and the tragedies and past that she has, under her skin. And you give her two children to be a maternal figure for, to get them through this entire problem that they are facing. Personal stakes. So the best way to make sure that your story has layers is to have large stakes and then all of those little personal stakes at the same time. If your characters don't have something to lose on a personal, deep, emotional, human level, then it's not going to be exciting enough just because of those large stakes. And any movie you see, whether it is those big movies with the disasters and the problems, we'll always focus on the personal lives of those characters, what they are doing, a broken relationship, a divorce on the way, a child that's estranged that you need to get to. There's always those personal sides of things, and you need to have those in your script. And it's not even the big movies. Look at something like Whiplash, a very emotional and visceral story about a young man who is doing all he can to prove himself to the people around him, to the people above him. He's very driven, and so driven that it completely consumes him. But when you think of the stakes involved, there's the dinner party scene that just sets up everything, and we understand what he's facing at home and in his family. We understand the expectations that people have of him. We understand this design and this mold that everyone around him is telling him he should be fitting in. And so it's not just about him doing it for himself. The stakes there are if he doesn't do it, not only is he going to see himself as a failure, but everyone will be right about him that he's wasting his choices. And there's a lot deeper than that. There's a lot of deep things in that movie. But it's just an example that even the smaller movies, they have to have stakes for your characters. So ask yourself, what does your character have to lose? What if they don't get through this? If they don't achieve their goal, what happens? That sets up their goal. That sets up their motivation. That sets up their want and their need and their desire and their reason for existing in this story. Every genre is going to have a different set of stakes. Comedy is going to be quite different than something like horror. Horror movies, it's pretty easy to set up stakes because normally people are dying. So your leading characters have to get through that and through to the other side, but you can't just have it be them needing to survive. there's other things happening. The great ones have many different layers to those characters, to those relationships. Whatever genre it is, whether it's a thriller or a sci-fi or whatever it is, look at that genre element. That's usually where your bigger stakes are. That plot usually defines what those overall stakes are, right? Whether there's a ghost in the house, there's an asteroid coming, a ship has powered down and is floating through space. If it's a Western, you've got bad guys coming to town. And whatever it is, you look at that genre piece and ask yourself, where are the stakes there? So that'll define the bigger stakes, the overall, where does this story go set of stakes? What is at risk? What is going to be lost? And then look at the drama level underneath all of that. Separate your mind from your larger stakes in your genre and your smaller stakes in your personal, in your dramatic story. There's always a dramatic story, even in comedy, lying at that base. And that's where you design your stakes. You can look at any movie and identify whether or not those stakes are there and find them to see the different layers that you have. Look at something like Point Break, for example, one of the best movies of all time as far as I'm concerned. It's the perfect storm of stakes. Not only do you have these bank robbers who are, robbing banks, and people are going to get hurt and maybe someone will get killed, so they need to be stopped. So you have to put someone undercover and follow the leads. So you take this character, Keanu Reeves' character, and he goes undercover. So the large stakes are there's laws being broken, there's money being stolen, people are in danger, people may be taken hostage. There's lots at risk there on a large level. That's the plot level of risk. But this undercover character of Keanu Reeves, who goes in and has to infiltrate this, his stakes are he falls in love with not just a girl, but all of these people. The guy he's supposed to be lining up to take down, he starts to have a connection with him. He begins to care about these people. And so those personal stakes come in a very dramatic way that if he takes them down, he breaks that trust, he breaks that friendship. But if he doesn't, he breaks everything that he is supposed to be standing for. So it's a great dichotomy of stakes and risk and what a character will become by the end of it, how they will change, where their morals are, where their ethics will be, the big decisions. There's a huge set of stakes there. And your audience gets emotionally attached to that and emotionally affected by it when done in the right way. So ask yourself, what are those large plot stakes of your story? If someone says, okay, so what? What happens if this doesn't get pulled off? That's your answer to the big stakes. So what are your smaller stakes? What are your personal stakes? It's very important, and your character must have them because it changes them. It all ties into all of the other layers of the story, like what they want, what they need, what they're willing to lose, what they're willing to gain, who is going to get hurt. How do you balance that? It's important to make sure that your characters are going through your stories for a reason. In television, it's a lot grander in scale because it's arcing over a number of hours per se. But it's all still there on a very personal level. What does your character have to lose over the course of the series? Where are those stakes? Look at relationships. Look at human connections. That's where the real risks come. It has to be dramatic. It has to be very internal. We have to understand it all at the same time. So don't make it easy on your characters. Never make things easy on your protagonists. Never. You always want them to have to face things and make decisions. So give your characters something to lose, identify what those risks are, and just really make it personal. So I hope that helps define why stakes are important for you. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel, like the video, hit the alert button if you want to find out when more of our videos are coming out. We are here from ScriptReader Pro to help you get better with every page. Give your character something to lose and write hard. Till next time.